gentlemen, today one of my favorite supporters, JB, put me on Nick Crowley. Nick Crowley, I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but I don't know. YouTube Darkest Videos, number 8. If y'all guys enjoyed the video, we're going to go from 8, go all the way back to 1. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, let's get into it. Flash warning, Flash, the following video contains... Okay, I'm not reading that shit.
For residents of Anagawa, Japan,
I feel like
were nothing new.
I feel like I should maybe turn the lights off and watch this. What y'all think? Oh, let's turn the lights off. Let's turn the lights off. Oh, let's make it juicy. This bitch. Make it juicy. This bitch
was different. It carried with it a violence that none of the locals had ever felt before, and by the time the shaking had stopped, everyone in the city seemed to be left in a momentary state of shock. This was especially true for the nearly 160 Chinese workers and students that had recently...
160 migrants had moved to the area for work shortly before.
Moved to the area, with most having never experienced any earthquake.
Most have never felt an earthquake before. I mean, nigga, a lot of people haven't.
20 women who had recently been hired as trainees
at a
company called Sato Susan, a company that sold fresh seafood. And having been at work at the time of the quake, they frantically ran out of the building and stood in the street, desperately trying to figure out what to do next.
Eat my ass, Adrian.
The fact that the real horrors were still yet to come. In Japan, it's not just the earthquakes you have to worry about, but the tsunamis that often follow. And usually, the bigger the earthquake, the bigger the wave. And
the bigger the earthquake, the bigger the wave,
and Sato Susan
the bigger the ass, the more it stank.
These women were now standing directly in the path of an impending disaster. Thankfully, their boss, Mitsuro Sato, was well aware of what was to come, and quickly he yelled to the women to seek higher ground. But given their unfamiliarity with the area,
listen. One thing I be saying, how the fuck can you run away from a tsunami? That shit is like, bro, you cannot. Even if you do get a higher ground, bro, you're not running away from no tsunami, bro. That's just some shit you ain't doing, bro. Unless you're Flash.
And they quickly
Did you not just say, yes, this is what I was talking about the other day, JB, yes.
Where they eventually
yes, this is exactly what I was talking about, JB.
And the sea. It was the highest point in the area, and should keep them safe from what would likely be a massive influx of water.
Imagine.
And sure enough, as they neared the top, Sato's fears were already coming true. As the sea
imagine like being at like the highest point in the city or whatever, and imagine being like out of a fucking tsunami. Holy shit. Oh my god, nigga, I would be terrified. Oh my god.
Things were only going to get worse from here. But despite understanding,
oh my god, imagine. Holy shit.
Safe enough for this group of women.
Damn, that is scary as hell.
Down the hill towards the slowly flooding city. The girls yelled at him, asking where he was going.
Tsunami don't. Hey man, shut the.
Revealed that down below in his home in Anagawa were his wife and his daughter, who were now directly in the path of this unfolding disaster.
Oh fuck.
And he was going to save them.
Ooh.
The girl screamed out to him, begging him not to go, as things had already become incredibly dangerous. But he didn't so much as turn his head.
Ain't gonna lie. If that's my family too, I ain't got no choice but to save him. Like knowing that I let my family die, like, yeah, I gotta save him. Like me just living and they, in heaven and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't even. I probably think about this shit every night. I probably just go ahead and do that to myself. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I probably go ahead and. I ain't got no choice.
High atop the hill, began to record.
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, we just died together, JB. We just died together, I guess. I don't know. Put everybody on my back.
Important to me. I love my family, but I also realize I don't know much about them, at least outside of my immediate family members, and specifically my grandfather, who I never got the chance to meet. And when thinking about this the other day, I went down a rabbit hole of trying to find information about my
Oh, I do know about granddaddy. Everybody. I'm finna say, I don't even know about. Oh, nigga, you slick. Hey. Chris, you's a slick motherfucker. You done snuck this out of here, nigga. Turn my motherfucking light on when I said this. Nigga, you snuck that out of here, nigga. You slick. You a slick motherfucker for that, boy. I'll give you that one. You snuck that shit in here. You think you slick, nigga. That was a good one. That was a good one. I'll give you that. That was a good one for it, nigga. I bet it won't happen again.
It was awesome to find pictures of my grandfather and discover things about him like
nigga, is this still the ad?
Basketball team. And after graduation, he was called to serve in World War II, which really moved me. They also colorized the pictures and even animated them. On this one you can see my great-grandmother, who came from Ireland and was one of 14 siblings, which was one of many details that I found surprising.
This better be.
I ended up sharing all these pictures with my parents, who absolutely loved it. This whole experience was
Nigga
honestly
is,
so sweet.
bruh.
This was
Chris. I knew it. That was a part of the fucking ad, Chris. You full of shit, Christopher. You full of shit, Christopher Columbus. Tsunami footage? Oh, fuck.
The footage shows that the shoreline was no more, as the water had inundated
Huh?
the entire area.
That probably
as
what
it
happened.
slowly crept its way deeper and deeper into the city streets. The women were understandably in a panic, trying to make sense of this ordeal that they were now given a front row seat to. And as they record, we can
Adrian,
hear
eat my
the
ass,
scream
nigga.
calling out for Sato. But at no point do we see him. We just know that he's down there, somewhere. And as the desperation in their pleas increases, so too does the fury of the water.
I ain't gonna lie though, like real, being real. Y'all think this nigga like I'm talking about like the people right here like looking for bro to come back, bro. This nigga just went in a tsunami to save his family. Do y'all really think he coming back? That nigga is floating away right now. All they floating away. Gotta be real now. This is a motherfucking tsunami. This ain't no damn kiddie pool. Oh, they got that water. That nigga cooked. That nigga fried. Like what the fuck? Fried.
They could only watch as Anagawa as they knew it was completely eviscerated.
Duh. Yeah, I'm not recording that shit. Hell no. That's why I said like the ocean is scarier than space, bro.
Hope for Sato.
The nigga had no hope for the jump.
The women realized that despite already being at a considerable height, it still might not be enough. And so they ran even higher up the hill, desperately trying to get out of the path of this water. And as they did so, they noticed something down below.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. What a strong. That shit is strong, bro. That's what I was saying yesterday, JB. Tsunamis.
Standing on the rooftop in the middle of this massive tsunami
Who the fuck
was
is-
Mitsudo Sato. The building that he stood on was once a full 2 stories off the ground.
Oh,
It was now
no.
just a few inches above the surface of the water.
How the fuck they know that's him though?
The women again call out to him, this time even more frantically. But at this point, it was no use. And when the camera is taken off Sato for just a split second, we can hear just from the women's reaction the exact moment that he swept away. The recording stops shortly after and restarts minutes later, revealing that the streets where the women had been standing just moments before
I ain't gonna lie, I probably would close my eyes. I wouldn't want to see that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't want to see
were now
that.
reduced to nothingness. In front of them was a sea of death. And had Mitsudo Sato
Damn,
climbed
like-
that hill,
Like, bro, just imagine though. Like, even when I go to the beach, and like, bro, when you go to the beach and just look at the water, just imagine, like, just look at the water and be like, bro, damn, nigga, that is a lot of water. That is a lot of water, bro. Like,
men would have certainly
nigga, that is a
hard-
lot of water. Like, that, bro, that shit can do some
It was
damage.
March 11th.
Just imagine a damn
The day where
tsunami,
Japan
bro.
had been hit by its most devastating earthquake ever, with it ringing in at a magnitude 9.0. which
Literally
in turn
nothing you
caused
can
the
do,
nation's
bro.
Worst ever tsunami. As that day, 19,759 people would lose their lives,
Ooh, it's
with
19,000?
Mitsudo Sato being one of them. But against all odds, his wife and daughter were not part of that death toll, as it's been reported that they were later found alive and unharmed. The devastation that occurred that day is incomprehensible, and all the footage of this disaster could warrant a place in this video, especially the footage of Anagawa, as you can see what it looked like before, during,
Yeah.
after.
Damn, they came through. That shit came through fucking shit. Oh. That's
But what I found so
crazy.
interesting about this was all throughout this disaster were stories like Sato's, a man who risked his life to save 20 women that he hardly knew, and a man who gave his life trying to save his family.
20 women? I thought it was just his family. You think I'm finna lose my life for 20 hoes I don't know? You crazy as hell, nigga. I'm trying to save my family. You gotta save yourself sometimes. You crazy as fuck. Think I'm finna save them 20 hoes? Hell no.
The worst natural disaster
Got my own family,
in modern
man.
Japanese history.
Trying to save my own family.
To save the ones that he loved. And I honestly find it quite beautiful that afterwards, these women adamantly shared his story.
Yeah,
and made
only,
sure that the
nigga,
world forever
what?
remembered Misuro Sato as the hero that he was. And
He a hero for that shit, but I would've did it though.
migrants who worked
Fuck
in the
that.
area, it was later reported that not a single one of them perished, which speaks volumes about the people of Anagawa, who so readily put others' lives before their own.
Shit, me. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, now they still alive and he dead and shit. Like, what was the point of him even doing that? I understand he would be a hero, but I would have lived too. I wasn't about to save me. Fuck that.
People found dead inside the home, and so far it's not known how the fire started.
It was just past 5:30 a.m. on the 17th of February 2021 when residents of a small neighborhood in Georgetown, Ontario were woken by the sound of sirens blaring. One man frantically grabbed his cell phone and rushed outside to record the unfolding scene.
Recording. Why niggas always recording? Ooh.
His
Ooh.
neighbor's home was fully engulfed in flames. It must have happened quickly, as by the time rescue workers even arrived on the scene, there was already little hope of
Chill,
saving
bro.
them.
Chill, bro. Chill.
It would take hours before that blaze was finally quelled, revealing the charred devastation inside, as firefighters would find the remains of 56-year-old Christina Rirak and 59-year-old Andrew Rirak within the home's garage.
I'm finna say happy birthday to you, nigga, after this video. I told JB I was gonna do
The
it.
situation was deemed suspicious when experts determined that the fire had started as a result of some sort of explosion that had happened within the garage where the couple's bodies were found. This
Uh-oh.
was later confirmed by security footage obtained from a neighbor who lived across the street, capturing the moments when it suddenly ignited around 5:27 a.m.
527?
Clearly something off with this case, and things only became more sinister following the autopsies of Andrew and Christina, which revealed that they hadn't actually died in that fire, and instead, both of them had been stabbed to death,
Oh,
with Andrew
shit.
also being badly beaten.
Damn.
This fire wasn't started to kill them, it was started to cover up their murder.
Ah.
And it did a good job of it too, as the scene was now left completely destroyed, with very little evidence being left behind. But there was something else investigators thought to check. That's security footage. The camera had been facing the garage where all of this carnage seemed to have happened, and so they thought maybe if they looked back far enough, it could at the very least show what had led up to this brutal attack. And so they rewound that footage, going back hours and hours, during all of which the garage had remained perfectly still, until they got all the way back to 6:42 of the day prior, February 16th.
Hey, chill out with the scary music. Chill out with the scary music and shit, bro. I know you put this in here, nigga.
The film showed the moments that the couple had arrived home together inside of Christina's car, which Andrew had been driving that night, as he pulled uneventfully into the garage. This was the last time this couple was seen alive on camera, which on its own is disturbing enough. But as it turns out,
Imagine being like, imagine your deathbed on YouTube, bro. Like, that's so shitty. Or like moments before your death, that's so shitty, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that's so.
unsettling about this footage.
I'll just record this shit. I
as it
hate that
revealed
shit,
the
bro.
fact that Christina and Andrew weren't alone.
What they got chased? I mean, not chased, but followed. And the nigga that probably didn't even have no purpose. Oh shit! That nigga been sitting there waiting for a long time then. Why you don't, bro? I don't even know how to do that shit, Adrian. I ain't gonna lie.
The footage showed a tall figure, its features completely shrouded in darkness, almost as if it were a shadow, with this figure lying in wait out of sight on the side of the house, until right after Andrew pulls the car into the garage, when this person slips in behind them. It's impossible to say for sure if the couple noticed this person or not.
Damn, that's crazy though.
As they both start to exit the vehicle, to which the figure then ducks down in an attempt to avoid detection. Until the garage door begins to slowly close.
Oh damn, that's crazy
Neither
though.
Christina or Andrew would make it out of that garage alive, as just seconds after this footage, they both would be brutally murdered by this unidentified person.
So Shawty don't, I don't.
Which is terrifying and speaks to
So
that
Shawty don't
fear
see him right there, actually in the passenger
the
seat.
fear of being followed, of being watched, and attacked in the moments where we least expect it.
Yeah.
It's paranoia-inducing.
Yeah,
and
that-
even more off-putting by the fact that this clearly seemed to be premeditated. Whoever this was knew their schedule and had been waiting for them to arrive home in a place where they knew they wouldn't be seen. But by this point, their motivation was as unknown as their identity. Following the discovery of this footage, bits and pieces were released to the press in order to get the public's help in identifying this unknown assailant.
Unknown individual captured on video, surveillance footage released in connection with Georgetown home where a couple found dead after fire.
It represented a rare instance of a killer being clearly caught on camera right before committing a crime. But that's also what made this case so frustrating, as despite the video capturing this person, none of their features were discernible at all. Unsurprisingly, the footage didn't bring in any relevant leads, but it at the very least showed investigators that whoever this person was knew the couple, due to its obvious
It's
premeditation.
always somebody you know. Literally, it's
It was
always.
clear that neither of them really had any enemies in their life, with the exception of one.
Uh-oh.
Harrison Brown was a
Harrison
27-year-old
Brown.
employee at a company called Rogue Transportations, of which Christina happened to be the vice president of operations. And during his time there, Harrison was known to be abrasive and combative, with Christina often having to be the one to reprimand him, leading to Harrison resenting her. It isn't clear how police were tipped off about this strained working relationship, but they had somehow grown suspicious enough of Harrison to
No
be
picture,
so
no
aggressive.
ID. And she worked with the
Showed
nigga.
that this resentment he had towards Christina had actually morphed into a twisted obsession.
Oh.
Inside, police found satellite images of the Rerex home, along with the software on the man's computer and cell phone that showed that on the 12th of February,
Oh, that
he
thing was a-
secretly attached a tracking device to Christina's car.
No.
And he had been tracking her movements for days,
No.
which is precisely how he knew when she would be arriving home. And as if this revelation wasn't damning enough, they would also find a broken knife in his garage that contained trace amounts of Christina's blood.
No. This
It's
nigga a
obvious what
stalker.
Harrison had done. And when confronted with this evidence, there was nothing more he could say other than the truth. So he admitted he had grown a hatred for Christina because of the way that she had treated him at work. And he decided that he
What?
needed to get his revenge. That's when he purchased this tracking device and began obsessing over her movements, studying them before finding the perfect time and place to strike. And on February 16th, he waited outside the Rerex home and snuck into their garage before attacking and killing them both. After the assault, Harrison would leave the home, where he began to grow paranoid about being caught, and so he returned to the house the very next morning to start that fire, with the hopes being that the blaze would cover up his tracks. Though thankfully, this didn't work, and after pleading guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of arson, Harrison Brown would be sentenced to life in prison.
Give his ass the death penalty. Give his ass the chill. Fuck that 25 to life shit. Give his ass the death penalty. Fry his shit. Whoa. Whoa. Did y'all know the death penalty back in the day? Like they literally, you can literally stand there and they shoot you to death. Y'all knew that? Y'all knew that? Nah, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, that's wicked. That's wicked right there. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of crazy. I mean, if you deserve that, then yeah, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If you deserve the firing squad, I mean, hey, by all means, fire his ass up.
Paradise, California, waiting for his first action of this
Like
uncharacteristic.
him, he should have got the firing squad.
His car was facing the direction of a well-known local cantina, which patrons were known to drive away from under the influence.
Uh-oh.
And sure enough, as the clock approached midnight, the
Don't drink and drive, fellas
would be
and
shocked
ladies.
by the sight of a car speeding out of the restaurant's parking lot.
Yeah, true.
The car went unseen by Feaster's dashcam, but not by Feaster himself, as he took off, doing his best to catch up with the car that was now speeding down the road, and within a few seconds, he does. As the car slowly comes into frame for the first time, inside that vehicle was 26-year-old Andrew Thomas and his ex-wife, 23-year-old Darian Aaron. Andrew had been drinking heavily that night and was well over the legal limit, with his driving showing as much as he failed to pull over once Feaster approached him, resulting
It
in
ain't win.
shootings,
Both of
with
their ass should get it.
lasting just a few
If
seconds.
you kill somebody, get the firing squad. Yeah. Kill somebody, get the firing squad. No ifs, ands, or buts. Whoa, what is this? A meteor? Somebody car flipped over?
As Andrew would drive his car directly into a median, causing the SUV to flip over violently before coming to a halt on its side.
Damn, nigga, that drunk?
In that
Fuck.
instant, Darian was ejected from the vehicle, being thrown straight through the windshield and landing onto the asphalt, where, despite still being alive, her
Oh.
injuries were likely unsurvivable. But Andrew, on the other hand, was still inside the vehicle, and he seemed to have been left relatively unharmed. As perhaps being boosted by adrenaline, he quickly tried to crawl his way out of the car in a desperate attempt to check on Darian, with Officer Feaster's dashcam capturing the entire ordeal. Though just as Andrew attempted to do so, we see Feaster step into the frame,
No!
where he suddenly draws his gun, and without saying a single word,
For what though?
fires 2 shots at Andrew, with one of the bullets appearing to strike him, causing his body to go limp as he falls back into the car.
No!
It happened in a literal instant, so fast that it's clear Feaster had most likely accidentally discharged his weapon, as there was no attempt at
Accidentally?
shots fired.
Did this nigga just say...
Andrew clearly
No, fuck, did this nigga just say accidentally? How the fuck do you accidentally pull your gun out, nigga? What? Are you... Hell no, Chris.
so fast that it's clear Feaster had most likely accidentally discharged his weapon, as there was no attempt at communication before the shot was fired, with Andrew clearly posing no risk to him, as both of his hands were being used to hoist himself up. From the footage, this all seems to be a horrible accident, and one that Feaster seemed to recognize right away, as he rushed up to the car, pointing his flashlight at the man that he had just shot, staring at him for over 10 seconds, trying to make sense of what he had just done, before he finally snaps out of it, and uses his radio to call for backup.
No, he know what he did.
This is when this already dark video starts to become much more disturbing.
Oh, shit.
I've got an unresponsive female. I got a male in the car refusing to get out.
Refusing to get out, nigga. You
When
shot him.
Feaster
What you
makes the
mean?
call, he never mentions the shooting, and instead he states that the driver was refusing to get out of the vehicle.
No.
This is then followed by Feaster walking away from the man and pointing his flashlight to the ground, almost as if he was looking for something.
Copy. Give your cross on Black Olive.
Pearson.
Copy. Black Olive and Pearson.
With some theorizing that he was looking for his shell casings. Though right then, another officer arrives on the scene
Oh, he's trying to pick-
survey the wreckage.
Just her?
Nigga, them shell cans gonna come from your gun, nigga. Wait, which is on the crazy man, the shooter or the one
Feaster
that
says
shot?
that Andrew was refusing to get out of the car, making
Huh?
no mention of the fact that he had just shot him.
The police shot the man for no reason. But he was drunk, though. He hit a
He
median.
was trying to cover up his accident, but this suddenly became more difficult when Andrew started to speak.
Okay, we got one. He's refusing to get out. Get out of the car, sir. You're not shot, sir. Get out of the car.
You're not shot, nigga. Yes, he is. What are you talking about?
Alive, and had muttered to Feaster that he had been shot, but even to his face, Feaster denies it. Shortly after, Andrew then tries to tell the other cop what had happened.
Sir, I saw him get out of the car, but the car is still on, and I don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah, I was right there. I saw it.
Somebody, you are not shot.
You get shot at the cantina?
I'm pretty sure you see blood somewhere. Who shot you? That cop did not shoot you. What?
Understandably, this other cop wasn't believing him, as surely Feaster would have said something at this point. And so, the minutes start to pass. And after 5 full minutes, Feaster continues processing the scene like nothing had happened, with the other officer being left to theorize that Andrew must have been seriously injured and was likely in a state of shock, which is why he was making all of these strange claims about being shot.
He may be hurt in there. Yeah, I know he is. He's in shock at the very least.
From here, the footage cuts, and we're only left with the audio from that same officer's body
No,
as he attempts
what
to
the
get more information
fuck?
from Andrew.
Sir, I need you to talk to me so I know you're okay. Sir, take a look at me.
The nigga bleeding out? What you
You
mean?
bump your head.
But by this point,
Nigga already said the police shot me.
he's silent. 10 minutes later, the footage then cuts back on, this time to another officer's body cam, which shows that an ambulance had now finally arrived on the scene, with medics first directing their attention to Darian, who was in the worst shape. as she would tragically be pronounced dead shortly after. But despite all
Damn, the
this
shot that flew out the
scene,
window.
none of them had any idea that the man inside that vehicle had just been shot, and shot by one of their colleagues. And in these moments, Andrew was slowly losing his life as each minute passed. It would take 11 full minutes before Feaster finally confessed.
Sir, you hold this scene, Manny, with me. We're going over to the cantina to find out if this guy...
No. He comes out the car. You think, nigga, you did?
Saying that he might have shot the man, but he wasn't sure.
How the fuck do you think
And
you shoot
immediately
somebody?
after saying this,
Oh my...
the recording is stopped, and the footage comes to an end.
No. They finna cover it.
In that moment, Officer Patrick Feaster had in fact shot Andrew Thomas, with a bullet striking him directly in the neck. And the reason why he wasn't getting out of his vehicle was because that gunshot had left him fully paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh,
His condition was awful, and made worse by the length of time that it took for him to receive proper treatment. And despite fighting for weeks, Andrew Thomas would lose his life less than a
Oh,
minute due to that.
damn.
Afterwards, Feaster admitted that he did fire his gun, but claimed that in the moment he wasn't actually sure if he had hit Andrew. But many found
So
this
what the-
hard to believe, as his gun clearly goes off while it's
See,
fired,
prime example.
and he clearly gets a good view.
Prime example what I was talking about. Like, this nigga, he deserved a firing squad. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Fire his ass up. You took a life for no reason. Flame that nigga. Fire his ass up. I don't give a fuck.
Fact,
Blam that
the
nigga.
fact that Andrew literally told him over and over again that he was shot. But for many, by far the most incriminating moment was when Feaster appeared to be looking for his shell casings. And because of his actions, Officer Patrick Feaster would be found guilty of manslaughter and receive a prison sentence of 180 days.
Days?
A decision that was heavily contested but ultimately upheld.
What?
And while no one is defending Andrew Thomas's decision to
What?
drive that night, Feaster's use of deadly force and his blatant attempt at covering it up make this footage harrowing nonetheless.
What? Days? What? There are many who believe that Officer Feaster intentionally, nigga, shot Andrew that day. Is difficult to explore this theory without being able to show the y'all niggas got the full footage. The fuck are you talking about? So I recommend looking up the case for yourself and drawing your own conclusion. What the fuck do you mean drawing my own conclusion? The conclusion, the proof is in the pudding. He shot this nigga. What? What the fuck are we talking about? In his own camera. Wow, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, bro.
It's May 2013. 23-year-old Quamaine Wilson arrives at his local bank in Chicago, Illinois, to deposit $20,000 cash, which he planned on giving out to groups of his most adoring fans.
Man, about to go get this $1,000 out for the fans, man. Really, I'm gonna take out 20,000, man. Just to show people, you feel me? I'm on a whole different level with this.
To this point,
Ah,
Quamaine
see.
carved out a respectable following on his YouTube channel, where he acted in a series called The Nick Story.
I'm gonna word out your mouth, and that's your ass, that's your life. I'm gonna take it myself and put it in my graveyard with the rest of them.
Along with posting music he made under the name Young QC.
Oh, wait, what that noise is? That's a noise for something. Hey, my nigga, that just subscribe for 8 months, dude. That
This
was
was apparent, and he wasn't shy about showing off the wealth that he claimed to have accrued as a result of it, posting photos and videos of himself flaunting large amounts of cash
all right.
across his social media pages.
Look, this is a life lesson, fellas, ladies. Literally, you're not gaining a damn thing from flexing money. Literally, you're not gaining shit. You're literally just telling the world that you got money, and you just, what are you flexing for? Who you flexing for, nigga? I never understood people that flex money on social media. Like, you're literally begging somebody to come rob you. I never understood that shit. Never understood it. Never understood that. Putting all my money on Facebook for what? Snapchat for what? Instagram for what? I don't, nigga. You literally telling people that you got money and you want to get robbed. Like, what the fuck?
But this
I never understood that shit. Like, I never understood that, bro.
As he would
That's
take that
the dumbest shit
$20,000
ever.
and throw it into the air for all of his fans to fight over.
$15 million would have took that.
With Quamaine clearly relishing in the opportunity to show off his riches, despite the fact that behind the scenes, things weren't quite as they seemed.
I can understand, like,
Quamain had actually earned very little from his channel despite its viewers.
so nigga talking about he earned very little from the channel. He had to flex of 20K just throwing that shit to the fans. I can say I kind of understand this nigga want to give that to, you know, the fans and shit, but not when you expect. I mean, making very little from the channel. Now, come on now.
On account of his videos containing copywritten music and the fact that he only had a dozen or so uploads. In fact, his social media flexing had started.
Didn't this nigga have 111K?
As in reality, all of this money was coming straight from his mother.
Nigga stealing his mama money?
Having started a successful business in Chicago, Yolanda made a great living for herself and Quamain. And being her only son, Quamain was given just about anything he could have asked for. She would buy him designer clothes, jewelry, and even the Mustang seen in this video.
What?
But for Quamain, it never seemed to be enough. He wanted to achieve a life of fame and riches.
Niggas be
He used his
greedy.
finances to sell the illusion that he already had, asking her again and again to purchase him things that could help him sell this dream. Until one day, it all came crashing down when Yolanda would tragically lose her life.
No.
Just like that, Quamain's entire support system had fallen out beneath his feet, leaving him without his mother and without the provider who was funding his entire life. But strangely, this didn't seem to stop his lavish online presence. In fact, his spending only seemed to increase after this, as this footage of him giving away money to fans actually took place after the death of his mother,
Like,
which became extremely
nigga,
awkward
you could do so much with 20K and you just threw that shit. Like, what?
for law enforcement, as Yolanda hadn't simply passed away, and instead, she had been brutally murdered.
Oh, he did it! Watch this nigga do it. Watch this nigga do it.
Learned something shortly before Yolanda's passing, that not only were his mother's savings entirely willed to him, but she had also taken out 2 life insurance policies, in which he was the sole beneficiary. And despite Yolanda giving him anything that he could have asked for, it seemed that by this point, Quamain had simply grown tired of having to ask.
I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now.
September 2nd, 2012, he would offer his friend Eugene Spencer $3,500 to kill his own mother.
Oh, wow, this nigga put a hit on his mama.
That night, he would travel to the apartment of Yolanda Holmes late at night, where he entered her room and shot her multiple times as she slept. At the time, her boyfriend had been sleeping next to her, and despite jumping up and doing his best to fight off the attacker, Eugene would eventually beat him unconscious before fleeing the scene. Eugene would call Quamain immediately after the attack to tell him that the job was done, but rather than feeling any sort of guilt, Quamain instead had no emotion.
What?
He simply stated,
Make sure the
"She's dead."
nigga that is. Alright, bro. Like, I don't understand. Like, nigga, that is the lady that birthed you, nigga. The lady that gave you life, and nigga, y'all having shit. She giving you literally anything you want, and you offer your homeboy $3,500, and you put a hit on your mama, your mother, nigga. You only get one mama. Like, you feel me? She birthed this nigga, took care of this nigga, raised this nigga, and this how you repay her? Wow. Now that is insane, bro. Greed.
Eugene went back up to that unit, this time brandishing a knife, and repeatedly stabbed Yolanda until he was absolutely certain she was gone.
No.
And with that, Quamain Holmes was a rich man, and it only cost him the life of his own mother.
Wow.
For a moment, the crime had worked perfectly. The police were left with no concrete leads as to who might have killed Yolanda, and the public largely believed that it was her boyfriend, whom Eugene had knocked unconscious. But no one even thought to look at Quamain, and recognizing that he was in the clear, his behavior grew brazen almost immediately.
Quamain Wilson lost his mother to gun violence on November 14th.
My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. A guy entered her home, you know, and murdered her, you know, just to steal.
As
I ain't gonna lie.
TV to talk
I
about
ain't gonna lie. A nigga, like, God forbid some shit like this happen to me, but like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not telling nigga, get that fucking camera out my face. I'm not telling nobody shit. Like, I wouldn't even said this shit. Like, I'm not finna tell the news team, like, yeah, you feel me? Like, what happened to shit? No, I don't want nobody to know this shit. Nigga, get the camera out my fucking face. No.
his mother's murder,
The fuck?
where he peddled the theory to the public that this was some sort of botched robbery. All the while, he showed no emotion.
No emotion
He
at
didn't
all.
wait a full week before depositing the money, as he took out $90,000 within
90?
the first few days, and immediately began showing it off to his followers. And in this footage where he gave away that $20,000, throwing it into the air as if it meant nothing to him, every cent of that had come from the death of his own mother.
I'm talking about
a death
spinning.
in which he was entirely responsible for. It would take over a full year for Quamain and Eugene to be caught, with police largely being tipped off by his online antics. And in the end, Eugene was given a 100-year prison sentence, while Quamain received 99 years.
Wow.
With his legacy now permanently defined by his creation of one of YouTube's darkest videos.
I don't know. He should be on like America's Most Dumbest or some shit like that. Like, what gave it away? Maybe because this nigga had no emotion on the camera. I don't know. Somebody, they said the police took them off. Yeah, now this one is definitely the fighting squad. I ain't gonna lie. That one and the other one with the police, the fighting squad. I'm not gonna lie. He definitely deserved it. He did this shit for greed. For greed. Like his mama wasn't already giving him shit. Like, nigga, what? The end. Wow. If you guys enjoyed the video though, make sure you gotta like, comment, subscribe.